Welcome to Pretty Lies and Alibis. Join us as we seek the truth and travel the long road to justice. Hi, everybody. It's Friday, and we are doing something new that we are going to call the Sweet Tea Sessions, which is when there's a little bit of news, but not enough for a full podcast, but we don't really want to wait till the next one. So yesterday, what happened, Fruit Loop?
So there was some stuff with Tammy Daybell.
Finally.
Yeah. So February 1st, there was a letter from the Deputy Attorney General. I think her name's Colleen.
Colleen's on.
I guess it depends on where you live. Colleen.
You're Southern. It's Colleen.
Colleen. Zahn to Lindsay Blake, who is the new Fremont County prosecutor. And she stated that the prosecutor before her requested assistance, and we all remember that. They requested that the Attorney General come in and help. So that was on April 9th of 2020. So now the new prosecutor has requested the case be sent back to Fremont.
And I think what everybody's buzzing about is yesterday there was an additional, on the 4th, there was an additional letter sent out confirming that Fremont County now has full authority in Tammy Daybell's case. But what was announced yesterday that's got everybody hopeful we might see some charges soon?
Oh, well, I mean, looking at it, we know when they closed Joe's case, said natural death. They closed Alex's case. They said, natural death. So this one, they're like, we're not going to give you the cause of death because it's still an open investigation.
And not only that, but the prosecutor requested the case come back.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes me think there's something there.
Yeah. I told you when we talked yesterday, my gut was like, they found something.
Yeah, and I disagreed with you initially about the autopsy because she was buried for a couple of months. She had been embalmed, and there was, as we know, there was no initial autopsy done.
Yeah.
Chad declined to have her body autopsied.
Yeah.
So this was December of last year, over a year ago, when they exhumed her body, the day before Alex Cox died.
Yep.
So it's been a long time coming. And what we found out yesterday is the autopsy is now complete.
Yep. They're just not going to release it. So, I mean, I can't see if it was natural, why they wouldn't just come out and say, okay, it was a natural death. To me, that's a red flag.
Right. And it still could be considered a natural death on the autopsy, but we've said several times on this show in the past, Rob Wood said at some point on a Nancy Grace podcast that he thought there would be enough evidence to possibly bring murder charges or conspiracy to commit murder against Chad and Lori due to digital evidence.
Yeah, so, not even having a cause of death.
Right.
Yeah.
So the autopsy, we don't know for sure that the autopsy, obviously, what the cause of death was. But if it's going back to the prosecutor, I would say either between the autopsy and digital, one or the other or both.
Yeah.
There's something there. And I kind of think maybe we'll see charges sooner than later on this.
Wouldn't it be like really awesome that as Chad and Lori, what they did to Tammy, and Tammy's going to get the final say so?
Yes.
That something in her autopsy is going to lead to charges.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I would really love to see all the charges come down on the same day, just like a hammer, like a gauntlet.
Yeah.
Just rock their world.
Yeah.
I think we all feel like at least Lori felt like she was going to get away with everything because she had before. She had every circumstance in her life that was sticky. She kind of wiggled out of it.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on with Tammy Daybell. But Mark Means weighed in yesterday after this announcement.
Okay, when you were talking about all those charges coming down at once, can you imagine what his social media is going to be like?
Yeah, it would be crazy.
Yeah.
So Mark Means did a little thread on Twitter yesterday that got everybody talking.
Yeah, and I would just like to be a fly on the wall when Rob Wood sees it. Like, what his reaction is.
I mean, he probably privately called him a moron.
Yeah, he can't do that anymore out loud.
Not out loud.
He'll have to apologize.
I mean, Rob Wood, you talked to an attorney today.
I did, and what we were told was, first of all, that the several times we've spoken to this attorney, they've kind of like laughed when I've told them something that means is done. And so the lady today was talking to me, and she said, this is like, no, this is unheard of. Like, you don't do this. Like, attorneys don't do this kind of stuff. One, it's like unethical. Two, I asked her, she said for anything to be done about it, that the prosecuting attorney would have to submit to the judge. She said, then the judge would make a rule on it. But she said the judge is not going to step in and do anything. They're going to stay out of it.
I think Rob Wood should just let him keep doing it as long as he's not putting anything sensitive out there.
Yeah.
It just reflects bad. And I just think it's a little hypocritical that Mark Means and Pryor both have talked a lot about the publicity in this case and how their clients can't get a fair trial. And yet he's putting threads on Twitter where he's complaining about things the judge has already ruled on.
Yeah. And to me, that's saying the judge doesn't know what they're doing, or, you know what I mean? Like, kind of just going where he don't want to go with that. Like, right. The judge didn't rule in our favor, so I'm going to continue to whine about it.
Yeah. I just worry that in the future, when these murder charges drop, number one, I'm curious to see if Mark Means stays on. It's not just going to be one charge. It's going to be multiple felony, big charges, life in prison charges.
Yeah.
If he doesn't stay on, then we start over with a defense attorney and this gets delayed, even further. But my question really is like, at what point can Lori say, hey, I was found guilty, I had ineffective counsel, and I'm mad about this, and I want my sentence overturned. I want a new trial.
Yeah.
I don't know legally, like, at what point that happens, but with him going on Twitter and causing a stir, if I were him, I'd be very careful.
Yeah. My thought on that, and could be wrong, but just from my reaction, and I guess it could go either way, but he's not court appointed.
Right.
So she's continuing to hire him. Like, she hired him, so the court didn't hire him. And I know that probably doesn't play any role in it, but for me mentally, I'm like, how can you whine about it when you continued to pay him and use him as your... At any time, she could say, I don't want him anymore.
Right. And didn't Rob Wood say something in the hearing to... I don't know if it was the one where they were trying to get him off the case, but he made the comment, when these murder charges come down and she gets a competent attorney. Didn't he say that at some point?
He said that this summer in that meeting.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So, even Rob Wood knows that when the big things come down, it's just, he's going to be a fish out of water.
Here's my deal. And I know this is a huge case, and could that be why Means is representing her, getting his name, in lights or whatever. But if I'm an attorney and this is way out of my ballpark, I'm going to be like, this is way out of my ballpark. I don't feel comfortable. Here is someone you can call to represent you.
I just think if there had been more instances of Means doing appropriate things and making appropriate arguments, but it's just been just this whole cluttered mess, it seems to me.
Yeah, I see him as a little kid, throwing a temper tantrum and whining. This happened and da-da-da-da-da. We've addressed the recording of the phone call.
Yeah.
Like, we've addressed that, a year ago or more? I don't even know.
Which phone call?
The one where they recorded him and Lori talking in the jail.
Oh, yeah.
And let me remind you, that was because he didn't call and register his phone number.
Right, yeah.
So, come on, it's your fault. So, just quit whining.
Yeah. Well, we're going to read this tweet. Yeah. And then we'll finish up after this. So, Mark Means goes to say, I've been asked repeatedly for a comment on the letter issued by Fremont County today regarding the passing of Ms. Daybell. First and foremost, my renewed condolences to her family. Secondly, why is Fremont County issuing a statement? It's my recollection that a Fremont deputy was present during the Fremont coroner's investigation at the Daybell property. Did Fremont County not ask the Idaho Attorney General to conduct this investigation? Thirdly, Fremont County elected coroner ruled her death caused by natural causes. Okay, just because the coroner goes and looks at her body in the house and says, Mr. Daybell, would you like an autopsy? No, thank you. It doesn't mean that was your one chance to find out if she was murdered.
Yeah, like cases happen all the time, daily, over the world where a body is exhumed and they find the real cause of death.
Right. It's otherwise we wouldn't have forensic files, which I love.
Exactly.
Okay, so he goes on to say, fourth, one must ask why issue this
nonsensical
statement in what is obviously a media teaser. Pretty much in every other case I've discovered, when a big piece of evidence is wrapped up, like an autopsy, they usually announce it.
Yeah.
This isn't new.
Yeah. I didn't consider it a media teaser.
No.
I considered it, okay, this is what happened. We can't discuss it because it's an open investigation. That's it.
I mean, the public has a right to know that the Attorney General has punted that case back down at the request of the Fremont County prosecutor.
Yeah.
That is not something that is shocking. It's surprising to me, but this isn't abnormal stuff.
Yeah.
So Means goes on to say, it appears as a further attempt to bias or prejudice the jury pool. What are you doing, Mark?
Yeah.
In a current Fremont case, though a not well organized media campaign at the cost of the citizens of Idaho. Finally, one must ask yourself, when the defense has to fight for the production of evidence. Okay, first of all, Mark Means, Tammy Daybell's death is not a part of the kid's death directly. This is a separate investigation.
Yeah.
Okay. It says here, when list of witnesses for the state is produced a year or so after charges are filed, when attorney-client communications are or were wrongfully recorded, when attorney-client communication, I'm reading that again, are or were recorded when attorney is denied access to meet with his client for months is the current case in Madison County, never the case in Fremont. When witnesses are coached on what they want to hear, one must ask theirself, how credible is the state's case? Bush League tactics are never needed when you're in the right.
Yeah. Okay. So Twitter needs to ban Mark Means from Twitter.
Well,
like, close him out.
Look, I think Rob Wood is giving him enough rope on Twitter. Let him keep doing it. It's not gonna hurt Rob Wood's case. It's only gonna hurt Mark Means.
Yeah.
It
seems to me when you always have to make a statement, that the state doesn't have a case.
Well, yeah.
Like,
okay, but
I think you're worried that yes, they do have a case.
Your client is incarcerated on $3 million or $2 million? I forget, because like one was $2. It's enough. She can't get out.
Two with two of the things combined or whatever it was, I think.
So I would say the state's case is pretty darn credible when they've got that high of a bond on right now what are small felony charges.
Yeah.
So clearly it's a big deal.
Yeah.
I think Mark Means just is going to make a bigger mess of this, but that's on him.
And it gives us something to talk about.
It really does. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, buddy.
Keep it up.
But I think maybe that was a little bit of a panic tweet, because when the autopsy's finished, maybe he feels like it's not going to be long before something that makes Lori look even worse than she does, if that's even possible, just with what happened to her kids. It's probably going to be sooner than later that we find out that Tammy Daybell was murdered.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I've never seen an attorney in a medium-sized case do this, much less like an international case that probably is like one of the biggest criminal cases going on right now.
Yeah, he's squirming like a worm in hot ashes. I don't know if that's a Southern term. I don't know if y'all have heard that, but he's you're squirming like a worm in hot ashes.
It's funny.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, anyways, that's kind of all we had for this. We just didn't want to wait till Sunday to talk about this. If anything else happens, we will definitely hop on and do one of our sweet tea sessions, because tea is gossip. But we don't do gossip. But, we got some info for you guys.
Yeah.
So I think we'll be back on Sunday. We're going to continue talking about Letitia and Gannon, and we are so far behind this case.
Yeah.
There's so much to catch up on, and so we're going to be doing that. Keep an eye on this with Lori and Chad, and see if we maybe get some justice for Tammy soon.
Yep. But you guys have been awesome sending links and stuff that help us.
Yes, thank
catch
you.
up.
Thank you.
When you see things that we don't know about. So
yeah, you guys have been great, and keep it coming, and we will see you guys on Sunday.
Yep.